The best use of the word pig is by a guy that we know at the track, and his name is Omar. He is a long shot player. He's constantly extolling his horses to continue running by yelling, "Stay with it, you pig! Stay there, you pig!" I mean, where you're being demeaning. It's almost like you rooting for Florida State, Lubie. Where you're just absolutely horrified at the possibilities of how badly your team is going to fade, even when they're well in command of the game. And that's one use of it. But then at the same time, you'll have guys cursing a horse in the very same race, screaming, "Don't die, you pig!" Even at a strip club, you don't hear the word pig employed as often as you do at the track. And the various uses of it, I think, are kind of fascinating. I'm surprised some English language professor hasn't studied track vernacular.
I just love that people. I've heard you guys talk about that fucking pig, but I haven't heard people using it to root on a horse that hasn't lost yet.
Yeah,
You haven't lost.
keep going, you pig.
Why is it a pig before it loses? What if it wins by like 3 lengths?
Because the horse was a pig, or it wouldn't be a long shot. Very, very creative use of the word pig, and part of the racetrack vernacular. I don't know why it isn't a course offered in Florida schools.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you on this edition of the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest. We got one Mike Lubitz, all geared up for his Florida State Seminole season, especially after we had Mike Norvell on the program the other day. And still, we're getting interpretations of what Norvell said, and most of it was, if things keep going the way they're going, we should have a pretty good season. Which that's all the depth that we needed on that. We didn't need him to illuminate too much more on what was going on. Lubie's asking him a specific question about guys and kids and how they do this and the mental attitude. He's like, yeah, you know what? We'll take the same approach we did last year. We should be okay. All right. Thanks, Coach. That was good. Good to be with you. Good to be back with you. Had a little incident here at the home on Tuesday, but I'm happy to report that remarkably, as if he had gone to a Benny Hinn revival, Skippy, my dog, who I thought was absolutely finished, drawing his last breath the other night, and with great concern, we're trying to figure out what the options were. And, I don't think, is there anything more painful? You could say, a family member, a parent, but in terms of the pet world, nothing is more painful than having to take a dog or a cat to a veterinarian to be euthanized. It's just, no matter what, you're going to end up breaking down. You're going to end up losing it. And you go in there and you're like, "Oh, Skippy, I love you," and all of this. And then they jam that needle in there and you're like, fuck. I hated to do that. But so he's still with us. He's kind of like Jerry Quarry saying, I'll fight Foreman. You're like, you just had the snot beaten out of you night after night after night. Ali, Frazier, all of these guys. Doug Jones, whoever you fought, Eddie Machen, beating the shit out of you every night, Jerry. And it's a shame, too. Look, he made a very... is there any death that's timely, Lubie? What would you say? If you live to be 100, is that a timely death?
Late 90s, 100. It's still sad, obviously, but you'll miss the person. But that's a nice, at least to me, I know, that's a nice number.
Anyway, happy to report... as of this morning, Skippy was semi in his routine, coming down as I was eating my breakfast here at the desk, nice. And making sure he stared at me long enough for me to give half of it to him. No matter what it is, he doesn't care, man. What? An Egg McMuffin today? That's it? I make them myself. I don't go to McDonald's or anything because here we are. We're working from home. All right. I did watch some of it last night, Lubie, as much as I could take. Because I'm an open-minded person, and I was trying to see, was there anything going on in the Republican debate that I could take something away from and feel comfortable that if Joe Biden, who, let's face it, the guy's going to be 80 years old. Nothing against the aged. I still feel I'm not as sharp as I was at 72 as I was when I was like 40, I don't think. I don't know. I'm doing my best. I'm eating jellyfish every day, whatever I can to retain any kind of semblance of mental activity. and productivity. It's not really working, as you can tell, as you're watching these shows over the last couple of years and saying, "Hey, what happened to DeForest, man? He's really losing it." But I did watch this stuff yesterday, and naturally, I wanted to see how DeSatan did. And fortunately, he was kind of a weak entrant in the field there. It seemed to all center around this nutbag, Vivek Ramaswamy, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Oh,
Ramaswamy.
I've seen that guy. Yeah.
And the guy, I mean, this was great. And I don't know why anybody didn't just directly challenge him on this. This Ramaswamy guy says, Donald Trump was the greatest president ever in the history of the presidency, of the office. And then he goes on to say that, well, even if he's convicted of one of these 300 crimes that he allegedly committed, I'm still going to support him if he's the nominee.
Why are they running?
I'm like, why the fuck are you in the race?
Why are you running against him?
Yeah. If he's the greatest president ever, and you don't care if he's running the country from jail, then what are you in the race for? Just to, open up a big mouth there on stage? And they were all like attacking this guy. And I'm thinking, they really are picking on the class clown, are they not? In this thing, and yet to show you where we're at and how hysterical this is. I mean, it goes all the way back. 1969, I believe, was the release of the album King Crimson. How many times have I quoted this line from the song Epitaph? Right? Our fate, I fear, is in the hands of fools. Did I get that right? Our fate, I fear, is in the hands of fools. Is it not? When you watch that yesterday, that's the only impression that you can have. This Asa Hutchinson, the governor of Arkansas, is he a former governor of Arkansas?
Yeah, because isn't the lunatics?
Oh, that's right. What? Huckabee Sanders became the governor of Arkansas. She just made some hideous, ridiculous Gestapo-like ruling yesterday.
Yes.
I saw her talking about it, very proudly beating her chest, saying, you know what, I don't care what happens here. You're going to have that baby.
Yeah, exactly.
These people are crazy, though. I mean, they're all insane. And what are they doing? You're never going to win if you're sitting there going, oh, well, Donald is the greatest. Meanwhile, he's on like some internet show, not even at this level with Tucker Carlson, who I guess became a nobody overnight. And, he's extolling his own virtues here. And that's what was going on in the Republican Party. This Hutchinson guy looks too much like a TV evangelist to me, even though some of the things he has to say at least are, somewhat halfway rational. Chris Christie, if he wasn't fat, I don't know, would he be a more favorable candidate, or do the people just hate him from that incident where he had the bridge closed down because he was pissed off about somebody not supporting one of his policies?
He was Donald Trump's buddy, and all of a sudden now he hates him. I mean, I think people think of him as a phony and a flip-flopper. I mean, that's what I would say. He's
flipped faster than that Tavares guy did here in the Mar-a-Lago case, right? Where as soon as he got cut loose from, he gets a public defender, and the guy says, "You better flip." And you know what? You're right. Anyway, So Christie, that picture didn't do him any good. The one on the beach when the beaches were closed, and here's this big fat balloon of a man, and he's just. Doing things that he's already ordered and mandated that nobody else can do. Nobody real. That's an ugly picture to paint, is it not? Where you just are such a person of privilege. I don't know if people got over that. And, him hanging out in the luxury suite with Jerry Jones probably is enough to, eliminate any candidacy that he possibly has. So that was it, man. They had the lineup there, and it was ugliness, too. And it was on Fox News. I didn't even know. I couldn't find Fox News. Could you? If you asked me to turn it on, I think I would have to say that might be, the first time that intentionally I ever turned on Fox News, Lubie. So it shows you being open-minded is good. And I came away thinking, my God, how pathetic is this? It was great, too. I mean, when you went back to the liberal channels, CNN and MSNBC, they had panels that were so extensive. I think I saw Steve Young and Susie Kolber analyzing what took place in the Republican debate. I mean, they put just about everybody that they could up there to try to figure out what the hell was said. And the truth was, there was probably less of any substance said in these debates than there was at the Brian Cashman press conference yesterday. Where Cashman, in his brilliance, I thought this was great. I mean, because I'm sort of indifferent to it. I know the Yankee fans are always howling about Cashman, but my opinion just on the surface would be, if you had this kind of budget to work with year after year after year after year, And on top of that, if you were one of those organizations, which you would be one of a very few that could afford to make just outrageous, egregious, horrendous monetary mistakes on a ball player, where you're paying, I don't know, I mean, how much is Stanton getting every year? 30? Something like that. They owe him like 222 million overall from
Yeah.
his original 300 and zillion dollar deal that he had here with the Marlins. Now there was reason to think that hey, this is a guy that you want, right? He had 59 home runs that year. It was his dramatic home run hitting season, as we've seen. Only eclipsed recently by Aaron Judge, who broke the record there with 62 for the American League, and people still think that constitutes the record, do they not? I mean, have the numbers from the steroid era been so fudged out of proportion that we discount them? Because, be honest, Lubie, not that we're ever trying to lie to you, is that something that you should never do, is to preface something by saying, to be honest with you? Unless you're going to tell your wife that she does look fat in that dress. Do you really need to have that preface? To be honest with you, and trust me when I tell you.
Oh yeah, I mean Segredo says that. So when Segredo says it, I go along with it because he actually is telling the truth. But usually when someone says that, they're being phony and full of shit.
Trust me when I tell you. You know what? You're one of the hardest working people that I've ever witnessed, and I would never do anything to screw you over. Yeah. So, as you're getting hosed, your bank accounts are being fleeced, whatever it is, you're about to see any equity you had in your home go up in smoke and now come back at you with a 8.9% interest rate. That's funny, too. We finally got back to the interest rates that made Phil Rizzuto's plea for the money store look good. 7.5%. Can you believe these interest rates? Holy cow. All right. So, anyway, we were, I guess, assaulted last night with a lot of this stuff, and it was very unfortunate. The Cashman thing, it's obvious what's wrong, right? And Cashman's explanation was shit happens. That really was. That's how he bailed out of it. Shit happens. What was the way he explained it away? The Judge injury. See, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Judge, look, MVP of the league last year over Ohtani. Remarkable season. He kept everybody's interest in baseball all the way to the bitter end there. Disappointing flame out in the postseason by the Yankees, but you wouldn't say that their season was unsuccessful, would you? They made it. If the bar is going to be championship or bust, okay, so nobody's going to be able to match up to that all the time. No. Contender every year, legitimate threat to win it all, and occasionally doing so. Remember, that was the thing with those Braves teams that were so great, going back with the Maddox and the Glavine era, where John Smoltz, where they had everything. They had pitching, they had hitting, they had defense, they had the top players in the game, and they got every call. And yet what? They only won the one championship, right?
Yep.
Hey, Chipper! Why do people hate Chipper Jones so much? What was it about him?
He said some stuff after playing that was a little...
But while he was out there, I mean, everybody was like, what was his actual name? It was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Some name where you would be bullied in school. Clarence. Yeah, it was one of those kind of names, right? Where, at least if you were growing up in the 50s like I was, it was a name that you were saying, Ma, what the hell are you thinking? All right, so I mean, Yankees are in a situation, I guess, when you're assessing Cashman, do you have to not do it on a different basis? Because if you can buy your way out of these mistakes, that's the thing that, a luxury that almost no team shares. Maybe the Dodgers can do it. Who else? I don't know. Are the Braves making that much money now, even though they've been successful? Have they become a financial windfall where they can spend all kinds of cash? Or did they just do this by cleverly positioning themselves so that their players weren't necessarily, going to bankrupt them, if they didn't win the championship? And yet, I mean, contenders every year, would it not have been just as easy right after they won it last year to, turn right around and say, well, they didn't win it last year. What, 2 years ago? Because Philadelphia was in the World Series last year for the National League. But, yeah, I mean, would you just have penciled them in right away as a favorite and gone ahead and pre-bet them before the season? Or would you figure too many weird things can happen, especially in the postseason in Major League Baseball? I mean, what were the Phillies doing there in the first place? weren't that great of a team last year. Came on strongly at the end of the season, which it remains to be seen if any of that is going to happen. But we know it's not happening for the Yankees. And Cashman, he just signed a 4-year extension. This guy, there have to be. I mean, people always theorize that there are pictures somewhere. He had to have had a 3-way with Lisa Meanwell and and Steinbrenner, no? There has to be like something very, very, dastardly underneath the surface there to have this guy sign an extension when you would have to speculate. Well, who else? If Cashman was let go by the Yankees, would another team hire him right away? That's the measuring stick that I use.
I don't think right now. I mean, I know he has a lot of experience. I get it, but it's been sort of a disaster there. I mean, and it's been a few years now. Like I know a couple years ago they surprisingly went to what? Did they make it to a World Series? Like a few years ago when they had a young team and people didn't expect it. But when they've been spending money and had expectations, they've flamed out. They haven't gotten to the promised land. And that's what the Yankees seasons are specified by. Like it's either
both in New York. I mean, before the season, the so-called narrative was unbelievable, Louie. You were thinking, yeah, this is going to be a Subway Series this year. That's what they were selling, peddling in New York in the newspapers and on the airwaves. And look, I mean, a dueling disaster. You don't usually see that where two teams like that are just, absolutely set up for success. And they went out and they did everything in the offseason that you would possibly want, addressed every need. Now, in the Mets case, it all started falling apart at the World Baseball Classic, where and you can't anticipate that so many people are going to have a lousy season at the same time. Stan's, ability to make contact with the baseball makes Mario Mendoza look like Rogers Hornsby or Ty Cobb, doesn't it? I mean, how can you have a guy that's hitting below the Mendoza line? I think he went down to like 199 the other day. Striking out an inordinate number of times. It's crazy. It's kind of like this whole thing with Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff, hitting like 170. It'd be like putting Choo-Choo Coleman in the leadoff spot. The Chooch is going to lead it off today. They figured they may as well get his bat right out of the way. Concede the out from the leadoff position every time the spot comes up in the batting order. Anyway, I don't know. I thought that was a great explanation, didn't you? It's kind of like Putin's explanation for how this plane crashed with Bogosian in there. Coincidence, Lubie? What do you think?
That's not, no, with them. Are you kidding me? No, it's not a coincidence.
Guy's got this fancy private jet provided by the military. It wasn't like he was flying on one of those Russian airline flights that the Russian Hockey League was using, right? Where they had planes that not even the Wright brothers would set foot on. And, they're flying teams around and you're wondering, oh, geez, what? Another one went down. That's kind of crazy. As if they were all exiting North Perry Airport here in South Florida. Coincidence? What do you think about that, Louis? 10 people on board this plane, and Putin's guy, they trying to show him up there with what would that be considered? A revolution? It's not an insurrection, right? We're talking revolution. Yeah. Trying to start one. Probably not a great idea, right? Anybody seen that guy Navalny lately? And all he did was talk about doing stuff. So when you're marching tanks through, on your way to Moscow, probably the over-under people, what we're going on a very short span. What was the over-under on Bogosian actually surviving after he supposedly made that deal, that sweetheart deal there with Putin? I'm going to leave you alone. What's his first name? Is it Vladimir? I don't know. Bogosian? Not sure. But that was some ugliness yesterday. Plane crashes with this guy, this general. Just coincidentally, happens to, go straight to the ground there after taking off. I wonder what they did. Wild card chase. What do you think, Lubie? Are we in it? Are we out of it with the Marlins? The Marlins back in action tomorrow.
They're done.
They take on the Nationals. They take on the Nationals, so they have a chance here. A little bit of a lightweight team. The Padres had a losing record, under 500 record, but still, you look at their lineup, you have to think that's pretty formidable, no? And they're chasing a lot, though. That's the problem, right?
Well, they keep losing these games. Alcantara now goes back to pitching like shit. Their offense is back to being this series, their offense was not good, and outside of Luzardo, their pitching wasn't good. This series said a lot. This is one of those teams that is right around them for the wild card, and again, one of these wild card teams they struggled against.
All right, that's fair. I'm looking at the standings here, and It's starting to get a little prohibitive. The Cubs in Cincinnati right now are in a dead heat for the third spot, and they're second and third respectively, and in a tie. And Zona and San Francisco are half game back. Miami's now 2 games out of it, 2 games, and then they still have to leapfrog three teams to nail down 2 teams to nail down that spot. So, or 3, yeah. They would have to get into that position also. Prohibitive. It's unfortunate, huh? When does it end, Lubie? When does it end? You thrown in the towel? We've done this a few times now, and have come back and surprised us. So we'll see what happens with that. You would have to say that Kim Ng, if they make the postseason, could be the executive of the year. Is that possible, Lubie? Kim Ng made some changes during the offseason. I mean, so far her only real brick would be Avisail Garcia, who's horrendous.
Yeah.
Other than that, Soler turned into a monster. Having a great year with the bat, even with his 240 batting average. The home run power has been there steadily throughout the season. I think he has 33 now. Realistic chance to hit 40. A solid year, and he seemed to be hitting them at key times. In addition to the occasional one where it was an A-Rod homer where the Yankees were down 8-0 and A-Rod hits a solo shot, or I guess that would be in reverse. They're up 8-0 and A-Rod hits a solo shot, and then with the bases loaded and the game on the line, they hits some tapper to the first baseman and then tries to swat it out of his glove. You've given up. I'm thinking they just, for some reason, can't get everything into sync. They start hitting a little bit, and the pitching goes, and then you have to think that they're suspect there with their starting pitching at this stage. So that's it, huh? Sayonara to the season. What would you say? Would you deem it a successful season? I would agree that, and it just popped into my head that how could you give the award to anybody else? Who else would get the award for Executive of the Year if it wasn't Kim Ng? With her preseason changes, which we deem to be cosmetic, including the acquisition of Luis Arraez, who should go on to do something that is unprecedented, and that is win back-to-back batting titles, one in the American League, one in the National League in subsequent years.
That's never happened.
The only time it's ever happened, the only guy, I'm amazed, the only guy ever to win batting titles in both leagues is DJ LeMahieu of the Yankees, who is nowhere close to that this year. Another reason that the Yankees are playing like shit is guys that have come through for them in the past this year have been an outright disaster. Well, what do you do? The chances of them removing Brian Cashman, wouldn't you say, are close to 0.0, Lubie? Just signed a 4-year extension last year. So you have to pay him for 3 years to go away when you've always expressed faith in this particular person and the job that he's done. Oh, yeah, well, it ain't Brian's fault. Boone, everybody's calling for his head, and you would think it would suspect whether or not he comes back. But, and we have seen that we're even changing out a manager who you thought was a very likable guy and a fine representative of the organization, somebody that would really know baseball in great detail. That, when Don Mattingly got let go. And you think, oh, well, geez, what good is it going to do? The next guy, though, came in and actually, you would have to say, got better results, correct?
Yes, Schumacher has brought this team together in a way Mattingly wasn't. Now, again, there was more talent and guys like Soler woke up, but we don't know if that was being here or that was Schumacher. Like, you usually give the skipper credit for a turnaround in the level of play of guys. So, yes, Schumacher has his team. Look, they're flirting with the playoffs, which they weren't last year. So that is a step in the right direction. I think Ng did exactly what we asked her to do, and the players she brought in are playing well. The rotation just fell apart, and the rest of the lineup is sort of struggling, and it just sucks.
As the great Yogi Berra said, you need deep depth.
Yeah. Yes.
And they don't have that. All right, we're going to do a trivia challenge today, so you can dial us up if you'd like to play, 954-417-0070. And we're hoping to break in some new blood here as we welcome back to the program after a couple of week hiatus, including what appeared to be, just a dream trip to Saratoga. We welcome in the very colorfully dressed today, Dave Gurggles Gurgley. Gurggles, how are you, my friend?
Morning, guys. Doing great.
Good
Had
morning.
a terrific time up in Saratoga. Can't hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Good morning, Mr. Toga. You sound great.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's another picture of someone I saw at Saratoga, near and dear to us. Didn't send it out yet. The Marty girl.
Oh,
Still at Ciro's, working
Wow.
7 days a week. Looks terrific. She went from a black-haired afro to a reddish blonde, petite young lady, and always the same, always that same laugh. Asked about everybody, and of course, I was fortunate to see Miramani strolling by, talking to some guys. I
Yes.
waited till he finished, went up and introduced myself. He said, "Oh man, I got to get a picture and send it to Defo." And I told him how proud we are of him. He's doing such a terrific job up there.
Yeah, he sounds great. Yeah, he really does. Got a little more animated than he had been at Santa Anita, which was something I was always hoping he would get to. Because I mean, he kind of staked his claim there with his hysterical calls using his impressions. Then he figured, and rightfully so, that if he was really going to make it as a big time race caller, he'd have to do it as himself, and he did that for many, many years. But wow, what an odyssey to get there too, including a very brief and somewhat ill-fated stint at Great Lakes Downs after
Oh, wow. I
had
remember
the
that track,
Hialeah
yeah.
job for a while. Yeah, Great Lakes Downs, and he was up there, and you're thinking that's a long way from the press box there at Toga, but no, doing a great job. And he sent me that picture right away of you and him, and then you did send me that Mardi Gras picture. So,
Okay, good.
but I
Good.
think the one that probably stood out for you, I mean, this was like when Lubie was interviewing Bobby Bowden, and he was just so overwhelmed that he was talking to his hero that it was hard for him to even articulate the simplest of concepts to Bowden and say, "Hey, how are you, Bobby?" And you got a picture with your man, Jimmy Graham, right?
Yeah, we sat 2 of the 3 days we were there. We sat in a circle right where the TVs are outside the jocks room. And Jimmy had one mount that day for ass busting in the feature. And I told my buddy, "Hey, grab your phone. Come on, let's go." And when he come out, I didn't want to bother him. So, of course, I said, "Hey, Jimmy, I've come all the way from Dublin. Would you take a photo with me?" And he said, "Sure, lad." And they put my arm out there, took a picture. I said, "Jimmy, hope to see you in another photo after the race." I bet 30 and 30 on him, and he ran fourth. But what are you going to do? I still got the picture. Yeah,
nice.
it was
worth 60
a great
bucks.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a great time, and we stayed, like I said, in Bern, New York, about an hour from the track, out on
Okay.
a lake. We had a pontoon boat. Go out on the boat in the evening. Just a terrific time. Smitty from Gulfstream set me up with a racing form and clubhouse admission every day. And Saratoga, we had a little bit of rain. That's it. Unfortunately, this weekend for Travers, looks like they might be in for a little bit of rain tomorrow and
Oh, yeah.
Saturday, which could be a little
It's
tough.
plagued
But
the
yeah,
meet.
great,
Yeah.
great time. Yeah.
You got lucky because the whole meet has been plagued by wet tracks and off the turf. And the Polyman, who speaking of the trivia challenge, who says his two favorite things in the sporting life that he's lived were Saratoga and the New York Yankees, and both were a disaster this year. And many people were saying that the meet just wasn't what you would normally anticipate from something as illustrious as this usual great Saratoga period of time in racing. But still, I mean, it had to be a pleasure being there. And did you run into a lot of people from South Florida? Because it's amazing how many people make the
Of
trek.
all people, one of the first people I saw there was a guy that I've seen there over 25 years ago, and that's a Stooper. The same guy you see at Gulfstream,
I thought you were going to say
around,
red.
eyes down, tall, gray-haired guy, eyes down, looking at, hey, Stooper. He looked up at me like that. Yep. But other than that, I wasn't looking for any people from South Florida, so I was happy just to hang around with the folks I was with and just spend an enjoyable time there. It was really, really terrific, and someplace everyone should go. You got to put it on your list sometime, and maybe do a broadcast from up there. That'd be the way to do it.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've only been there one time. I was always tempted when I was, living on Long Island to drive up there and make the schlep. And then I thought, do I really want to? It's about a 3-hour trip. Do I want to go 6 hours of driving to go to the track? And at that time, like losing $50 was a big amount of money.
Sure.
And that's a long drive back when you're broke too. So although gas was like 29 cents a gallon back then, but I never made the trip all of those years. And then finally we went there. And in an illustrious style by private jet after the Leslie Visser Duke wedding in Boston. And we stopped off there in Albany, rented a car, went up to Saratoga. So that was my one day there. It turned out, real old school. I mean, if you're a fan of racing and you used to go and you'd see the families there and people are playing football in the back at Belmont Park. I mean, it wasn't just straight degenerate stuff, even though we were happy that it was leading to the education and the evolution of future degenerates by having all of these kids hanging out with their families. All right, we're going to get into the trivia challenge here in just a moment. You can dial us up if you'd like to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. I think Gurggles was the only guy that wasn't part of that Republican debate yesterday. What they have? Like 8 guys up there? It was amazing.
I was looking for it on TV. It wasn't on television, was it?
Well, not real television. It was on Fox News. So,
okay. Yeah. Well, without cable, I didn't get that. So I went to bed early, listened to it on the radio, and it was unbelievable. It was terrific entertainment. It really was.
Oh, yeah. It's great. Yeah. It was kind of really like watching a Gordon Soley interview,
I think if you would have handicapped that as a race right now at the top of the stretch or in the back stretch, I would put Nikki Haley in the lead, as a matter of fact, as far as substance and the way she handled herself.
Yeah, she didn't back down from this Rava Salami guy who, continued. He continues to gather votes. The more of a fool he makes of himself, which is great.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to come back.
I was waiting for him to say to Christie, when Christie attacked him, I was waiting for him to say, listen, you won't find me sitting in a lawn chair on the beach when the rest of the beaches are closed. I'll tell you that. They didn't bring that one up.
Yeah, that wasn't a very flattering picture for the Christie campaign. And probably you would have to think that would doom his chances, right? That any ad campaign against him would just constantly be showing this picture of this overly inflated belly of Chris Christie as he's sitting on a beach that is supposedly closed, which, not a good look. Not a good look for the governor. All right, we're coming back with the trivia challenge in just a moment here. 954-417-0070. Dave Gurggles Gurgley, the master of ceremonies on that one. He is also taking over Celebrity Jeopardy, I believe, which that job popped open. And amazingly, how were you overlooked again, Gurggles? Don't they know? Haven't they seen this program?
I don't have the patience for Jeopardy people. I'm more, Price is Right or Wheel of Fortune or something like that. But no, or even I would like to do Match Game 2023. Gene Rayburn, I think, was the best host of those. So
Senior Dating Game. How about that?
There you go.
Senior Dating Game.
There you go.
All right, we're coming back with more. Dial us up if you want to play. We have the Landlubbers gift certificate we're giving away. Lubie's going to be live at Landlubbers later on tonight as he conducts his live version with the professor of the trivia challenge. Later on today, what? Are we going to Delaware Chicken Farm, Lubie? Delaware Chicken Farm, right? Okay. We're going to be out there later on with the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show. And I would think most people could make this distinction that you don't have to have the refined palate of a award-winning food critic to distinguish Gurggles between a Maine lobster and a Florida lobster. Two distinct textures and flavors. Would you agree?
Yeah, the Florida lobster swims in the left lane at about 5 miles an hour, where the Maine lobster just goes regular.
Doesn't even have claws, right? All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Now that it's 7:40. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, solo volante will be coming late. Oh, solo volante. The Belmont's now a mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici just switched the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Louie was doing a little research trying to figure out if Dana White had actually offered Iran Ortiz Jr. a contract to join the UFC after his ride on Forte in the Jim Dandy. But the Travers coming up, that's kind of interesting on the weekend. You have all won by different horses, all the Triple Crown races. And then, of course, Forte, who didn't win any of the Triple Crown races, but just won the Jim Dandy and was the 2-year-old champion. So very interesting. They always call this a summer classic in the 3-year-old division. Could decide who is the 3-year-old of the year, and very competitive. Are you still on your horse, Arcangelo, in that one, Gurggles?
No, I'm gonna go for. Well, the long shot is Disarm. They're putting blinkers on him. Rosario is probably the best finishing jockey, but he just seems like a plotter. I'm more inclined to go to the one that Luis Saez picked up in Meiji, the one to win the Derby.
Yeah.
And Mage. Castellano got off. I think Saez is a great positional rider, and I think he may turn the tables and get that Travers win. So if I can get 3-1 on him, I'll be happy. Disarm should be more like 10-1. So I may use those 4 in a superfecta, but that'd be chalk to play it that way. So Mage and Disarm will be the horses I'll be looking for.
Very nice. Dave Gurggles, ladies and gentlemen, did come up with Arcangelo as the Belmont winner, right? Of course,
that was my Perdomo horse. You're right.
Yeah, no, that was
and my
fantastic.
Perdomo spectator this year is Lenny. Lenny's going to be a toga for the Travers.
Yeah. Oh, wow. How about that? No, Lenny's living. He's living the dream. Lenny, supposedly at the airport right now on his way to Albany. Yeah. Did he actually? I mean, you've been seeing him, Lubie. Did he lose like 100 pounds, Lenny?
He's lost weight. He definitely. I know he's eating healthier and he's doing better and he looks good.
Okay, good. Looked like a real trimmed down version of me. I mean, it was one of those things where you were looking at a before and after picture on one of those Golo ads. Where I lost 193 pounds. I mean, he really looked good. So congratulations out to Lenny. All right, you ready to get the game started, Gurggles? Here on this Thursday edition, Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Dave Gurggles Gurgley. And you guys can dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. So here we go. I started out in the traditional fashion with a dedication to the polyman and some.
Easy baseball. This player on facing knuckleballer Charlie Huff said, Charlie's an enigma. He can embarrass the batter on one pitch and then embarrass the catcher on the next pitch. What's that? Ron Tingley, Ron Say, Ron Swoboda, or Ron LaFleur?
I like the Penguin reference in there. All right, here's a random phone scrambler to select our first player. And first up on this week's edition of the challenge is Mike. Mike, welcome to the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge.
Good morning, fellas. I'll say A on that.
You would be correct. 1 point. Off to a rocking start here.
All right, Mike, baseball, true or false? Believe it or not, the Yankees who won last night to avoid a 10-game losing streak, the last time the Yankees lost 9 in a row, Michael Jackson had not yet released the Thriller album. True or false?
Wow.
True.
True.
That is true.
That is true.
Yeah.
It was 1981, I believe. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
40-something years. Okay, very good. Mike, very sharp to start us out here. 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, Mike, NFL football. Although the 1970 Browns versus Jets is commonly thought of as the first ever NFL Monday Night Football game, in 1964, Commissioner Pete Rozelle scheduled one with the Green Bay Packers versus that was at the New York Giants, the Chicago Bears, the Philadelphia Eagles, or the Detroit Lions?
I got to go Bears on there. Bears.
That makes sense, but it was their other divisional opponent, the Detroit Lions, and they drew 59,000 for that Monday Night Football game.
Wow.
I was going to say the Lions, just based on any oddball game, with like the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
The early version too is always the Lions involved there because they were always crap ever since Mo Plum retired until recently now, where Dan Campbell has people think they're going to be good. And they were good last year for the most part. Best 0-6 team in football. Going for 7 points here to set the pace, Mike.
All right, Mike, we got a lot of horse racing questions with the Travers coming up. Here's one for you right now. We want to know who's the first Triple Crown winner to also win the Travers.
Oh, good one.
Is that Citation, Whirlaway, Secretariat, or American Pharaoh?
They're going way back with some of those horses.
I'll say Pharaoh.
No.
American Pharaoh.
No, all the way back to 41. The Great Whirlaway did it in 1941.
Wow, that was a tough one, yeah. Because you figure you're going to dismiss the old timers there. All right, a tough draw from Mike. And that leaves the line open at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Of course, always great being out at Hialeah Park. Guys are winning jackpots galore out there. I mean, it's incredible. I see on their social media pages, Facebook in particular, every day, man. There's like another video of a guy getting a hand cash payout. 12 grand, this, that, the other thing, 25,000, winning all kinds of great prizes that they put up. The casino is rocking there at Hialeah Park. They always have special events going on. And even when it's just the routine stuff, it is spectacular. Like the outdoor dancing and the DJ that they have out there on Friday night, man. Unbelievable, the atmosphere and the vibe there. I like when they have multiple things going on, like the boxing, dancing over here, and people are hammering away at the machines inside the casino, playing poker upstairs, and betting the ponies. Come on with that 5. A lot of good stuff at Hialeah Park, including the Champion Simulcasting Room, which I believe, is that your favorite? We were out in Vegas together. I think you enjoyed that at Caesar's Palace. I remember making a couple of scores there, right? Didn't we hit some pick 4 or something?
Yeah, we had pick 5 at Woodbine, yeah.
Always gives you a favorable view of the place. Yeah.
Yeah, Hialeah Park's ideal. Because I like it because you got the big screens, but I have my personal area where people can't bother me when I like to bet that way. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw some promos for them in the casino. They are registering people to visit and win possibly $1 million. So that's a big deal. And go on their website, and you can see it in the casino. It's the possibility of winning $1 million. You go in, register, and I'm not exactly sure, but go to hialeahpark.com and find out. I've seen some of the commercials on TV, so that's another reason to go out there. And if you're going out there Saturday for the Travers, it's 11:40 post. So I'm guessing check with them. Probably they'd open up around 10 a.m. on Saturday.
And, always just a great place to sit there. Like you said, if you want to hobnob with a bunch of people, you can do that. You can sit out there on the veranda even. They still have that available to you. And bet the ponies, come inside, watch the races, or even watch them out there. And even in other parts of the building. Say you make a bet and you want to go downstairs and replenish your bankroll by trying to hit like a quick pick machine or something. You can go downstairs and still catch the races in these other locations. So it's great. All right, Hialeah Park, a great place to go. Are we ready to roll here? Yes. Mike Lubie Lubitz says we're ready to roll. So let's get our next set of questions from the great Dave Gurggles Gurgley.
And this is a request that we've had for years and never used this topic: cliff diving. This comedian,
wow.
Yes, this comedian on the sport of cliff diving said, there are only 2 categories in cliff diving. There's grand champion and stuff on a rock. What's that? Norm Macdonald, Norm Van Leer, Norm Cash, or Norm from Cheers?
Yeah, that's always been one of my favorites there when they had the Acapulco cliff diving there. And
oh, yeah.
And you had to time the tide because if it wasn't coming in when you were diving or hitting the water, Unfortunately, there wasn't enough water there. It was kind of like those circus acts where they used to dive into a short pool of water, and then the guy would like break every bone in his body. It was ugliness. All right, we have the Andy man. Always good to hear from Andy. We had a great time at the track. What was that? Was that just last Saturday, Andy? How are you, my friend?
It was Saturday. Yep.
Beautiful.
I'm going Norm the Degenerate McDonald. He'd be listening to your show like me. He was a pure degenerate.
All right, 1 point, Andy, and you're in the game.
All right, true or false, Andy? Believe it or not, this might be right up your alley. The Travers Stake is the second oldest stakes race for 3-year-olds behind only the Kentucky Derby. True or false?
I'll go with false.
It is false. The Travers is it's false. The Travers is actually the oldest, preceding the Derby by 10 years. They started in 1864, the Derby in 1874. Good job, Andy.
Bit of a trick question there. Yeah, it was kind of like a Florida election ballot where yes means no and no means yes. I like that. All right, 2 for 2, Andy, going for 5. Put you in the lead.
All right, Andy, let's go back to NFL football. Who was the first team to lose their game in week 1 and then go on to win the Super Bowl? Is that the Baltimore Colts, the New York Jets, the Kansas City Chiefs, or the San Francisco 49ers?
Let's see. The Jets were 68. The Chiefs were 67. I'll go with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Good guess. But actually, the very first one to lose their opener and win is all the way back. It's way up in 1981 when the 49ers lost to, of course, the Detroit Lions 24-17, then beat the Bengals in Super Bowl 16, 26-21.
All right. Little Joe Montana action here, right? Was that here?
Yes.
That one? Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the one where who was the running back that he was strung out on coke, the fullback for Cincinnati.
Oh,
became
yeah.
last second detail about the game. Yes.
Wasn't it Stanley?
Stanley something. Stanley Turrentine. No, he was a sax player.
Stanley Wilson?
Stanley Wilson.
Maybe?
Good one.
God,
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. You are a trivia maven on that. All right. What do we have? We have the 5-point question coming up. Andy going for 7.
He's 2 going for 7.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Andy, golf. This year marks the 17th year for the FedEx Cup, which originated in 2007. Tiger Woods won the first and third FedEx championship in 2007 and 2009. Which golfer in 2008 prevented Tiger from a three-peat when he won it? Was that Stuart Sink, Tom Lehman, Jim Furyk, or Vijay Singh?
Now, this reminds me of this girl I was seeing in the Philippines. She had 3 kids. The first and third was by one guy, and the second was, I used to call her first and third.
Sure, she appreciated that.
I was gonna say,
Is that why you're no longer speaking, Andy, to this particular woman?
Yeah, that was when I was in the Philippines.
Oh, okay. All right. What do you think?
Stuart Sink.
Sinker.
Stuart Sink.
No.
No. It was Vijay Singh. Vijay Singh.
Singh, that would have been my last guess. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Andy. Thanks for playing the game, man. You're right there. You're in the mix, my friend. You're in the mix, as is Perdomo Cigars, in the mix of the greatest cigars made anywhere the world over, as the great Jimmy Leonard Sr. used to say. Really needing no introduction, the world over, Perdomo Cigars, David.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they had a cigar booth at Saratoga. And, of course, I was armed with my own Perdomo cigars, walked up to the guy. I think the cheapest cigar was $25. And I said to him, hey, do you guys sell Perdomo cigars? And he said, no. So I walked away. He goes, wait a minute. We sell them at our store off campus. I said, I don't need it. I've got my own. There's me with a lot 23 at the Maldives at Manajora and Maldives Island, right near Sri Lanka. You don't have to go that far. You can go right down the road from Miami Lakes, 5150 Northwest 167th Street, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I get choked up. I love them so much. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They are open. 305-627-6700, the number to call. Go there today or tomorrow. Get some, stock them up for the weekend, whether you're watching the Travers at Hialeah Park and looking out towards the track, or whether you're in your Florida room at home or out in your own backyard or on the boat, whatever. They're perfect, and they make them perfect one at a time. Say hello to Nick Jr., who's got a nice little baby girl named Lucia. And you all your friends can go get a Perdomo cigar. As I said, 305-627-6700 to call them. Father's Day's come and gone, but you don't need a reason for a Perdomo cigar. This is the season for Perdomo cigars. So when Madge and Disarm run first and third in the Travers, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
If Perdomo ever launches a billboard campaign, that should be the picture on a billboard right there. You have a world-renowned celebrity, Dave Gurggles Gurgley. I mean, you could not look any more blissful than you are in having that chilled beer near you and
that was good.
Puffing on a Perdomo cigar. Yeah,
yes,
in the Maldives.
The other one with Irish whiskey, a good one as well. But yeah, Perdomo cigars definitely make it. At Saratoga, I just sat there near the Jock's room with my racing form, just sitting there with the Perdomo cigar. Had it made. God bless.
Well, and that was great. I'm sure the aroma of a Perdomo cigar was one of the big enticements for Jimmy Graham there to come running over and say, "Hey, Gurggles, can I have a picture with you?" Which was great. All right, we're coming back with more. We'll continue the game here, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, in just a moment. You can dial us up if you'd like to play, 954-417-0070. Nobody with a total worthy of being in the finals. Lubie with a Landlubber's gift certificate that he's going to give away, and you can see Lubie later on tonight. What time does that get underway, Lube? 6 o'clock?
6:30. No, 6:30. We're there.
Time 6:30.
6:30. Yes, sir. And it's packed. It's funny. Out east, you guys are slow. Out west, I guess this is prime time. With school starting, everyone's home. All the families are there. We've had really good crowds. We'd love you to join in our trivia at 6:30 tonight. Landlubbers, Sunrise Boulevard and Pine Island in the Plantation Sunrise border.
Yeah, get there early too. They've got everything on TV. I go sometimes to Gulfstream, make some bets. When I walk in, they've got TVG on. I've got the peel and eat shrimp with a nice cold Guinness, and then Thursdays is cheeseburger night, or for the healthier people, that blackened salmon bowl with teriyaki. Oh man, that's heavenly. The food is terrific, and when I say this, Lubie and the professor really do a terrific job. It's worth going to.
There you go. I mean, that's it. A live version of an expanded, in terms of the subject matter, the parameters, guidelines of the game. There, version of the trivia challenge. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. We'll continue the game in a moment. Now that it's 7:58.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752.
Can't fake caring. Women can sense this immediately. You don't really care. You didn't really want to do any of this.
We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, we have the game working here, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Dave Gurggles Gurgley is conducting all of the questioning here. And nobody with a total worthy of being in the finals. Open line at 954-417-0070. Ready to get back into the game. Brought to you by Hialeah Park, and, of course, also brought to you for all of these many years by Nick Perdomo and the great people at Perdomo Cigars. So here we go. Without further fanfare, Dave Gurggles Gurgley, our next set of questions.
Boxing. This journeyman fighter, after being told that commentator Howard Cosell had hung up his mic after being so appalled at the one-sidedness of the Holmes-Cobb fight, said, "Wow, I can do my sport no greater service." What's that? Randall Tex Cobb, Ty Cobb, Corn on the Cob, or Buffalo Bob?
He was blocking punches with his face. And Howard was screaming the entire time that Carlos Padilla, the Hall of Fame referee, should have stepped in and stopped it. Pull a Richard Steele. All right, we have Bob. Bob, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Bob, how are
you? He's going to eliminate the sport that he works for?
Huh? What? A is correct.
A.
Very nice.
All right, golf, Bob. You're breaking up a little bit, so we'll trust you. Golf. True or false? In the 2019 Bing Crosby Pebble Beach Open Pro-Am, believe it or not, Donald Trump made a hole-in-one, and as usually the custom is to buy a round of drinks, but Trump didn't. Since there were 25,000 spectators there, he did say anyone who could prove they were there, he'd buy him a drink. True or false?
Oh, my God. I'll say true.
That had to be as far-fetched
It
as
is true.
It's true?
It is true. That is, yeah, that's true. That cheap son of a bitch. All right. No, well, whatever. We won't go into that.
Rudy. I mean, that picture of Rudy. I'm so tempted to superimpose the faces of many of my friends on that Rudy Giuliani thing with the schwitz and the hair color dripping down his face. You couldn't look any worse than that, right? Any Arturo Gatti fight. I mean, the blood wasn't dripping like that. It was incredible. All right, we have 2 for 2 here for Bob, going for 5 in the lead.
All right, Bob. Baseball. Which major league player holds the record for most consecutive games having struck out at least once in each of those games? Is that Bobby Wine, Aaron Judge, Reggie Jackson, or Dave Kingman?
You're going to go with the obvious Kingman?
I'm going to go with Reggie.
That's a good guess. No, how about Aaron Judge, 37 games straight in the year 2017?
Oh, wow. Struck out in 37 straight games, huh? Wow.
Yep.
I thought he had a good eye at the plate. Apparently not. Just willing to swing at anything. All right, they're going for 7 points here, Bob. This would put you right on top.
All right, ABA, Bob. I know you're an ABA fan. Which of these players was the first to score 50 points in an ABA game? Louis Dampier, Connie Hawkins, Rick Barry, or Mel Daniels?
Daniels.
The obvious would be Rick Barry.
No, Louis Dampier. It's always Louis Dampier.
The little guard,
Louis Dampier.
Kentucky Colonels, right?
Yep,
Very
you
nice.
got it.
All right, again, negativity here is nobody has a total worthy of being in the finals. We're trying to put another person in the mix, Lubie. What do you think? If we can, 954-4. You're giving me a look like my mother used to when she would say, "Are you gambling again, Jeff? What happened to all of your money?" Why do they always assume it was gambling that did you in? That it couldn't have been another series of oddball events in this lifetime?
Because they're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's never property tax, rising insurance rates, cable bills, telephone. It's always, were you gambling again? It was like that Joe Pesci scene. You're not gambling again. Don't make a fuck of me. All right, we're gonna get one more in before we go to the finals here.
Oh, good.
Does that seem fair here, David? All right,
Yeah.
so if you're ready to go, we're ready to go. Here's Dave Gurggles
All right.
our next set of questions.
All right, we'll make it an easy one. Auto racing. This driver, summing up his win of the Indy 500, when asked by reporters the key, said, "Well, actually, all I had to do was keep turning left." What's it? George Robeson, Butch Hobson, Tom Poston, or Tom Tresh?
Rolling a scrambler here is one Mike Lubitz. And it lands on Pat. Pat, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning.
Hey, guys. What do you say, A?
A is on the money again. Everybody seems consistent in getting that first question right.
Hoops, Pat, true or false? Believe it or not, actor Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch on The Addams Family, played collegiate basketball for Stetson University, where he averaged 17 points and 10 rebounds per game over a 3-year period. True or false?
Oh, he's a tall guy. Let's go with true.
True.
It is true.
True.
Is true.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Very nice. 2 for 2. Everybody got the first couple right and then flamed out from there. So we'll see if Pat can get us going and earn a spot in the finals.
All right, Pat, horse racing. 5 years ago, almost to the day this week, this jockey won 7 races on the card at Del Mar, tying Victor Espinosa for the most wins in a single day at Del Mar. Who was that jockey? Was it Corey Nakatani, Drayden Van Dyke, Alex Solis, or Kent DeSormo?
I was going to say Joe Bravo for Jersey Kyle.
C.
B as in boy?
C as in car.
C as in, okay. I'm glad you used car.
W as in wrong. W as in wrong. It was B. Drayden Van Dyke did it.
All right, I tried to give it to you, Pat. I had no idea, but that's the way it would have worked out. It would have looked like a fix was in. Now, here we go. A 5-point question. Put you in the finals and/or into the draw.
Good luck, Pat. Not an easy one. Which player threw the ball that broke Sammy Sosa's bat, revealing the illegal cork inside?
That's a good one.
Was that Jimmy Gonzalez, Lance Carter, Jesus Colon, or Travis Harper?
Oh, where'd you come up with those names?
Cologne.
As in Bartolo.
No, it was Jimmy Gonzalez, June 3rd, 2003 for the Devil Rays.
All right, 4-way dead heat. Rare 4-way dead heat for the finals here. So Lubie's going to make some determinations via the random phone scrambler as to who gets into the finals. While he's making that happen, David, tell us again about Perdomo Cigars.
Yeah, whatever the occasion. Whether you're someone's getting married, whether it's a bachelor party, whether you just want to celebrate life in general, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars, and they are terrific. Where are they located? Easy, 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the south side of the Palmetto, just between 57th and 47th Avenue. Really easy to get to. You'll see the big Perdomo cigar sign right outside. Go in, you walk inside. Nuvia is their nice hostess who will help you. The big humidor on the left, built by our late great friend, the Mad Dog. Nick's office to the left. Nick Jr. in the back. And Nick's lovely wife working there as well. It's a family operation, but they are worldwide famous. So to get a great cigar, just go there, 5150 Northwest 167th Street. It's a Saturday or Sunday. Maybe you're going out this weekend. Any tobacconist worth their salt will have Perdomo Cigars. Just walk in and like Nicholson said to Nurse Ratched, I want my Perdomo cigar, Nurse Ratched. So today, tomorrow, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
All right, we're ready for the finals here. The random phone scrambler has made the determination that it's going to be Pat versus Bob. Not coincidentally, this is kind of like that Bogosian thing. Not coincidentally, they were our last 2 players. So somehow that worked out. I assure you it was randomly decided here. It was just like they take the pill out of the box and then they draw the name of the horse. As they try to make it very equitable as to who gets the post position draw, and then they always go to the guy who has the 1-hole and says, "Hey, how do you feel about getting screwed?" The trainer always says, "Well, we feel the horse has the ability. Don't worry about it. It's not going to compromise our chances too much." And then after the race,
for you and Lubie.
Yeah.
Trivia question for you and Lubie: had it been Pat and Mike, what would have been the significance of those 2 names?
Pat and Mike. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here.
Yeah, no clue.
That was a great Hepburn and Tracy movie.
Is that right?
She was a golfer and he was her agent who fell in love with her. Pat and Mike. If you ever see it, great movie to see, even though it's in black and white. So, but it's Pat and Bob, so we'll do it otherwise.
We'll do it this way. Pat and Bob. All right, so here's what's happening. Yep. Gurggles is going to fire up a question. You guys call out your name if you want to answer right away. If nobody answers right away, we'll offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first choice, and we go back and forth until we have a winner. So here we go. Good luck, gentlemen, for the championship, the Landlubber's gift certificate, and a chance to meet face-to-face with Mike Lubie Lubitz. Here's your finals question.
All right, good luck, guys. I couldn't get away without using this. We're going to use a horse racing Travers question for your bonus question. Just like the 1918 and 1982 Travers, and like this year, The 2017 Travers drew all 3 of that year's individual Triple Crown winners. In this case, in 2017, the Derby winner was Always Dreaming, the Preakness winner was Cloud Computing, and the Belmont winner was Tapwrit. Who won that 2017 Travers? Was it Cloud Computing, Always Dreaming, Tapwrit, or the 4th entry who wasn't in either of the Triple Crowns, West Coast?
Anybody?
Right.
Pat.
What do you got?
Who was it?
It was B as in boy.
B as in boy. Incorrect.
No.
All right, 3 left for Bob.
Yes, Bob. Was it Cloud Computing, Tapwrit, or West Coast?
I'll say West Coast.
West Coast. The horse that wasn't in the Triple
Mike
Crown.
Smith came in and won it for Baffert on West Coast.
Congrats, Bob.
Very good. All right, Bob, a winner. And hopefully he'll be able to show up at Landlubbers and take advantage of that fine, outstanding, and rather substantial gift certificate that Lubie's giving away here. It's part of the Trivia Challenge. Lubie, we'll see you guys at Landlubbers later on tonight. Gurggles, are you going to have a chance to get out there?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's a great place. The food is terrific. The trip is worth it. I'm not sure. The Chronics may need help today. Lenny's gone, right? Yeah, he won't be there. So
Can he do it on
when
some
Lenny's
kind
there.
of? Can he do it on a Zoom call, or do you have to actually be there in person?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He got to be there in person.
All right, makes sense. All right, Gurggles, great job as always. And what do you have going the rest of the weekend? Anything special?
We're busy here. We are preparing for October 30th. It's our 20th anniversary of the Corey for St. Jude's tournament, where we raised over $400,000 for St. Jude. So
Nice.
we're preparing for that in October. We've got some September tournaments. The golf course is in great shape. Come out to Miami Lakes Golf Club. The guys running the show came from Mel Reese and are doing a terrific job running everything. They're letting me be a part of it. So come out. We do sell Perdomo cigars here as well. So for you gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thanks very much. Dave Gurggles Gurgley, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to Bob, one of the legendary players in the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge history. And he comes through with a big victory here on South Florida Live. All right, we're going to continue in a moment. We'll be with you till 8:45. That's the new post time for departure here on the program. And then we're doing this thing with No Filter, which we connect with at 9 o'clock. And hopefully that thing will come out okay today. It was a bit of a Linda Blair and the Exorcist thing, wasn't it? The episode number 2 we put together, where we kept flipping positions the entire time, or did they correct
They've
that?
worked on it. Yeah, they're doing good. They're helping us. We're getting a lot of help from Leslie and Joe over there at No Filter. So I think if people watch it, to them it looks fine.
Oh, okay. Because that thing you sent me, I tell you what, I thought I was dyslexic or something. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. It got crazy there. All right. And, that doesn't necessarily, I don't know. I mean, when something like that is happening, you're figuring what? People probably put up with it for what? A few seconds and then.
Yeah, the No Filters aren't long, so I'm presuming they probably deal with it because it wasn't like.
It was weird, yeah.
It was weird, but it wasn't constant. So you could probably get used to the rhythm. But yes, I'd rather that not happen 100%.
There you go. I'm with you 100% on that as well. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Preseason football again tonight. Final week of the preseason. A lot to be decided, Lubie. Jobs are on the line. I don't make light of that. You know what? That's something we probably, as media, we tend to make light of it. But think about it when you look at it from the perspective of the guy that's either making it or not.
Yeah.
Right. And then Messi was in action again. There's more Messi mania to discuss here on the program. He did not score a goal. His streak is over. I would say it shows you how overinflated his value is perceived to be. Couldn't score a goal against these scrubs that he's going against in the MLS. I would think that would be tantamount to a colossal failure, although he did have a couple of assists. And we're trying to figure out what exactly is the MLS. Because I think he's played now 8 games. Is that possible? 7 games. And he has 10 goals, 7 games. But I don't think he's played an MLS game yet, has he? Yeah. How is that possible? And now they just won some championship, that League Cup.
League's Cup, yeah.
But this game last night had them in the semifinals and now propels them into the finals of some other cup.
Okay, yeah. What? Because I couldn't find it on this fucking Fakakta thing that I pay extra for. I
the
thought
Open Cup.
See, I thought it was them back. I thought they were back in the MLS, so I was.
They're wearing more cups than Yogi Berra. What is this? I mean,
and I couldn't find that game, so I'm like, what game is this that they're talking about? And I couldn't find it, so I'm like, okay, I didn't realize it was another in-season tournament. I'm like,
7 games. They're undefeated. This was a team that couldn't get out of its own way.
They lost 11 in a row.
They had lost 11 in a row, a near impossibility in the MLS, I would imagine. Probably the longest losing streak ever, much like this Yankee losing streak, reaching 9 before they snapped it last night. You think any of that press conference with Cashman might have snapped them out of their coma? I don't know.
Yeah, he saved the day.
Last place. Wow. I mean, the Mets and the Yankees, total disaster this year. And so naturally, I think people have diminished expectations about the New York Giants. I'm not sensing that following their playoff season of last year, where they did win a playoff game before getting shellacked by the Philadelphia Eagles, that there's an overwhelming amount of enthusiasm or thought that the Giants will be better this year. What do you think? Are you sensing that?
I think they're going to be worse. I think they had a lot of close games that they pulled out of their ass last year.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones isn't good. They just gave him a ton of money, so they couldn't. Their offensive line had a lot of holes, and they couldn't fill them because they gave it to Daniel fucking Jones. Barkley will be fine, but I think they're going to be worse. I think they're going to take a major step back.
Okay. And the Jets, you would have to think, at what point in the season do they throw in the towel?
I know that's a whole
try to trade Aaron Rodgers.
Have you seen lately this one receiver retires, even though he's not even that old?
Yeah,
because he's not getting along with Rodgers. One of the Cobb, who used to be there, is talking about you better be on his good side or he won't throw you the ball. Their offensive line is fucking in shambles. It's.
They have my man Mickey Becton out there on the right side now at tackle.
Yeah, he's looked good, but again, it's the preseason, so who gives a shit if he looks good against third stringers? Like, I don't know. I thought they would at least get to the season before people would be wondering what the hell is going to be. Like, I thought they'd lose a couple games and then Rodgers would have a hissy fit. It's interesting that he's already frustrated before they even get to the goddamn. He hasn't even played. He's not even going to play a snap the entire preseason. Like,
he might. Right.
This game. He may play this game. We'll see.
Speculation that he may see his first preseason action since 2018. Because you can't be afraid, Lubie. It can happen in week number 1 just as easily if you're not prepared for the rigors, the physicality of the National Football League, which I would think that the play calling would be relatively simplistic. Aaron Rodgers in there, just get a couple of snaps in, see if you can make the exchange there under game activity, and we would hope that he gets out of there after what? A couple of series if you're a Jets fan, and you say that's it. We really want to see what this guy Zach Wilson can do, so we can get excited when Rodgers finally says, I ain't playing no more because I hate all of these guys.
Exactly.
You talk about, I mean, as far away, this run that he's had in the offseason and leading up to now, you're saying there's turmoil? I didn't really detect that. Yes. I didn't really look too seriously at the Jets and Giants stuff today.
Just retired, who was going to be their third receiver, Corey Davis, who they just and Cobb, who's worked with him. Cobb was with him for the Packers, and then they brought him back last year with the Packers. Has talked about how Rodgers, if you're not on his good side, he's not going to throw you the ball. And a lot of people were weirded out by the comment. So
all right.
Rodgers has been bitching a lot. The offensive line has been abysmal.
The 4-time MVP was 2 for 5 on the Lazard touchdown drive. This is talking about Rodgers. Then connected on 9 of his next 10 passes, Lubie, midway before a sloppy final sequence that featured 2 false starts and at least 2 drops, and saw him finish the day 12 for 21. Not exactly a glowing report there, and doesn't really talk about any of this turmoil here. Steve Serbian, the New York Post. Aging left tackle Brown going to be the gang's most important player. Does that sound familiar? We have an injured, frequently injured left tackle here with the Miami Dolphins. Jets receiver Davis abruptly calls it a career at 28 years old. Oh, that's the story you're talking about.
That's the story.
Jets wide receiver Corey Davis suddenly retired from the NFL at 28 years old on Wednesday, saying on Instagram that stepping away from the game is the best path for me at this time. Davis had previously taken part in training camp and played in their preseason game against the Panthers. Ex-Packer Cobb thought about calling it quits too. Oh, okay. So this is all because they think Rodgers is a prick?
Yes.
My goodness.
I like that New York, which is normally as out there and mean as possible, is now protecting him, which is fucking weird. Like they want this to go so bad that they're like they didn't even like. Salah is saying, yeah, he's away. Davis is away from the team for personal reasons. He wouldn't even admit that the guy retired. It's like, okay, I don't know if Salah's the guy to handle when it's about to go down.
Yeah, that's odd because, I mean, what happened to the love affair that was going on there? That was quick.
Well, no, he's an ass. We know he's an ass. Like, he's been fucking weird for years.
Talking about Rodgers.
Yeah. He's been weird for years. This last 2 years, he got really fucking weird. He leaned into it on purpose to get out of Green Bay.
Yes.
And then this offseason, he's been magical. He's been at the Rockettes, and he's been at the ESPYs, and he's been at the...
He's on the Howard Stern show. There's nothing he hasn't done, yeah.
He's been everywhere. That's wonderful. And then he had to play football. Like, that's the thing that sort of matters.
Look at this Trek that he had in front of him as an offensive line, and he said, holy Joe Willie, man. No wonder his knees were shot. Actually, that happened before he got to the Jets. They had a good offensive line, the New York Jets, including my favorite. I want to get into something else, too, when we come back. We're going to finish things off here in a moment on the Defo Show. Later on today, we'll be live from the Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market.
Yes, sir.
And you're saying, Jesus, Def, you've really reached the pinnacle of your career here when you're going to a chicken farm to do a remote. But
I enjoy it. You don't have to go.
The place is fantastic. I love it.
They treat us.
I don't even mind. You know what? When a place is worth the schlep, that's a good measuring stick. When you're thinking, for me, a bit of a schlep, not around the corner here, like a 35-minute drive, and worth every second of it, because the people there couldn't be any nicer. And on top of that, I mean, what a great selection. If you're looking for, and people are always talking about it, you could go and get clobbered on a bunch of, meats and seafood products at a local supermarket.
Yep.
Which we've been burying. I went in there. It really is for me, Lubie. Have you ever had this experience where, you had to walk through a bad neighborhood to get to some destination?
Oh, yeah.
Through it?
Many times, yeah.
And you thought it was worth it because, you really, you needed to get through there. Hey, look, we were down in Hialeah at like Porky's. Right?
That was not a good neighborhood at all.
Bringing equipment in and out.
That was sketch.
How did we not get shot at as we were, taking these cases of equipment out of and that's when you had like a big,
the whole thing,
rig to schlep in a giant case, and we're going out the back door of a very remote strip club, and into a neighborhood that you're thinking, I don't know what's going on here, but it's probably not necessarily in compliance with every law. What do you think?
I thought a lot stronger things than that. So I'll give you credit.
But it's getting that way going to the supermarket, isn't it? I mean, certain supermarkets where you go in there and you feel like, oh, okay, I know I'm getting robbed here.
Oh, yeah, you're about to get robbed. Yeah, for sure.
But just take my money, don't hurt me.
Just get in and out. That's 100% when you go. We're not naming them, fine. When you go there, it was funny is I found
it's where shopping is a pleasure.
I found so many things at Walmart and Aldi now. Like I used to still have to go there for like 3 or 4 items. Look, the BOGOs are a great deal. The problem is I'm like, I don't know. I don't get the flyer. Like, I don't know what the fuck's on BOGO. So I'd have to actually walk in to then snoop out the BOGOs. Like they're so expensive. I don't do that. Like I've actually found between Walmart and Aldi, I find everything I need now and it's way cheaper. Like it's just not worth it to go.
Oh man, it's insane. They should literally. I mean, it's kind of like the concessions at a ballpark. They should just have the cashiers in a ski mask with a gun.
They should really just have them stick them up.
Just stick them up. All right, you got me. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. We'll get into some serious stuff here.
I'm sure we will.
Cashman, I love that explanation, man. Shit happens.
Yeah, of course. But it works for him. That's what's so funny. Who else would that work for?
And people, oh, yeah, hey, Brian, all right, brilliant. And this, I don't see, how can you really fire a guy with like 3 years left on this extension he just signed in a position of general manager? Or, and then think about the lunacy of this. You're going to go ahead and give the people who put you in this bad situation a chance to get their way out of it when it's been a continual burial since 2010, essentially. 13 years of
Oh yeah, I mean, look,
championship futility.
They just haven't won. Exactly, they haven't won a world. They've been to 1 or 2 World Series or ALCS, but they haven't won a World Series in 13 years. And for them, that is, especially the success they had in the 90s, 2000s, that left them greedy. And that is a long drought, especially for a guy, the same GM. Like usually if you're going through a drought like that, then you're going to turn over at the top. The fact that they haven't turned over at all is very interesting.
They're still paying guys who are deceased, I think. I mean, they owe them like millions of dollars. It's insane. Well, I don't want to mention him necessarily because that's kind of a sensitive thing. Since
he is deceased. Didn't he pass?
Yeah, he did. They still paying a Rabu? Oh my God, that's in poor taste, Louis. I even edited myself from mentioning
I
Rabu.
know, but
You had to bring him up. Nice. It's cold. Shoots himself in the head.
I forgot how he passed, so maybe that's why I thought it was like a plane. I don't know why I thought it was a plane crash or something. For some reason,
No. I mean, it wasn't Thurman Munson. Yeah, they might be paying Munson too, for all we know. Who knows? He might have had some deferred money left that Cashman has to account for. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment here. Now that
The time.
we got lost there, didn't we, Lubie? It's 8:27. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodzie, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodzie, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Mr. Pentangeli, were you a member of the Corleone family? Did you serve under capo regime under Vito Corleone, also known as the Godfather?
I never knew no Godfather.
Mr. Pentangeli, you are contradicting a sworn statement you previously made to me and signed. I ask you again, sir. Here and now, under oath, were you at any time a member of a crime organization headed by Michael Corleone?
I don't know nothing about that. Oh, I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago, that's all.
We have a sworn affidavit. We have it. Your sworn affidavit that you murdered on the orders of Michael Corleone. Do you deny this confession?
Look, the FBI guys, they promised me a deal. So I made up a lot of stuff about Michael Corleone, because that's what they wanted. But it was all lies. Everything. And I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure. Why not?
It's now time for the Defo Show.
A little excerpt from the grand testimony that we managed to get our hands on in the Atlanta case, the RICO case. Very, very similar, I would think. You'll hear some of those same things, right? I said, yeah, sure. They said Donnie Boy did this and Donnie Boy did that. I'm not sure. No, they're going to be flipping.
I was going to say that's actually not the case. They're the opposite. They're like, no, fuck Trump.
Flipping like eggs at a Denny's in the morning, just like pancakes. Hey, could you flip those flapjacks one more time? No, it's gonna be hysterical what's going on there, and I love the way they're parading everybody in and out of a court. Rudy's picture made the front of the New York Post, as you might imagine today, the mugshot. I would have to say a fairly flattering picture compared to what we've seen lately. Can you see that, Lubie?
Yeah,
Is that coming out right?
Yeah, it's coming out actually fine, but I've also seen it. He just looks lost.
Who looks more lost here? Okay, so that's Rudy.
Yeah.
And that's his mugshot on the front page of the Post. And on the back page of the Post, Brian Cashman, who had labeled the season a disaster.
He looks worse.
He was very straightforward. Doesn't he look worse? I mean,
Giuliani, Giuliani just looks like he's stunned.
He's scraping together legal fees right now because Donnie stiffed him. And, Cashman's probably making what, about $10 million a year as a general manager for the next few years?
And he's doing
so
fine.
why does he look more concerned? Because he has to feign being concerned?
That probably is it. He probably has to feign like he gives a shit when in reality he doesn't.
I like when the person that is probably the most obvious that needs to go is the one that's in a position to say, well, we're going to be looking into everything. Like, no, you're not. I mean, the most obvious change that could be made is to go ahead and say, listen, I'm doing a crappy job here. Whoever says that, nobody.
No. Well, no. Well,
shit happens, though, is a great explanation. That's a great way to shrug it away. Literally, that was his quote. Shit happens.
I can see shit. You saying shit happens when someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
How do you say shit happens when everyone's playing? They're just bad. I know Judge was hurt for a lot of the year. I get it. But he always gets hurt. Like, that's not new. Outside of last year when he magically stayed healthy and won an MVP and set the Yankees home run record. Every other year he's been hurt, and he's been hurt for large chunks of the year. So, you can't be shocked that Aaron Judge is hurt. To me, that's not a shit happens. It's the roster you constructed sucks, and you're not doing your job. That's not shit happens.
It's ugliness, mostly because of the money and the attention that that particular team draws as one of the, you would have to say, premier in terms of talked about franchises. Are they, what would it be in the NBA? The Lakers? Are talked about more than any other franchise, regardless of how they're performing. This is a last place team, for God's sake, and here we are. We're spending hours on this thing. All right, I do have to pay tribute to a guy that when I first came to Florida, I became aware of his athletic prowess and the significance of what he would be in his chosen sport. And he checked out, I believe his age was 79, but Terry Funk, the professional wrestler, checked out the other day at the age of 79. Terry Funk was, of course, part of the wrestling Funk Brothers, and there was, a multiple generational thing as their father, Dory Funk Sr., was, also legendary in the game of professional wrestling and was on many circuits, Terry Funk. Always losing to Dusty Rhodes whenever I went Tuesday night wrestling matches at the Miami Beach Convention Center. And, reminds us that here was Terry Funk. And he had to capitulate based on wrestling scripts to a guy that they were, you talk about perpetrating a fraud on the American public, that Dusty Rhodes constituted the American fucking dream.
I never thought. He always called himself the American dream. I knew the older Dusty Rhodes, and he was beloved by the time I knew who he was.
Yeah.
I never connected the actual definition of America, the term American dream to that man.
He had more cellulite on the back of his legs than Russell Crowe did. If you saw the outtakes of the Gladiator movies before they touched him up, right? And you're like, how tough can this guy be? His legs look like cottage fucking cheese. But Dusty Rhodes, would hardly be as a visual. The epitome of what you would think of as a guy as the American dream. Now maybe before he, became a she, Bruce Jenner could have been, the kind of body type. I remember thinking, wow, I wish I had a body like this guy, right? Greg Louganis was another one. Had like a perfect body. Did he not?
He was in great shape. Yeah, he was they're in nuts shape.
Great shape, right? And you're thinking, wow, I'm not going to be some big muscular guy, but a physique like that would be absolutely ideal. You would never say that about Dusty Rhodes. He was the epitome of everything you would not want to be as the American dream, unless the American dream is to be an obese,
Well, I mean,
only slightly coordinated by comparison to the other guys in your own sport. I mean, and where your submission holds and your signature holds are lame compared to everybody else in the game.
everyone's watching, going, "Oh, wrestling may be fake."
What is his big thing? Like the atomic elbow? I don't know. What was Dusty Rhodes known for? When you had real innovative people in professional wrestling, Dr. Jerry Graham, he goes to Japan, learns the Japanese sleeper hold, comes back, and it's a revelation in the game. I mean, really revolutionizing the way that people approach the sport. What did Dusty Rhodes ever do? Except, I mean, look really stupid in those American flag shorts, the cowboy
I
boots.
always took it as his path was the American dream. The fact that he could look like that, be sort of loud and braggadocious,
Yeah.
and then still get to the pinnacle was the American. Like, that's what I took it as. The fact that this man can get to that place, that's the American dream, that anyone can make it. If this man,
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
then anyone, like, I didn't take it as that's the American dream.
Literally, then he was the American dream.
I'll stay in Italy if that's the fucking American dream.
If that's all we aspire to be, you would have to think, no wonder this country is, becoming, in some people's opinion, third world. It's crazy. All right. But anyway, our respect and condolences go out to the friends, family, relatives, and the fans, of course, of Terry Funk. He and Dory Funk Jr., one of the great tag teams in South Florida Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Florida. And we used to have the pleasure every week, man. They would be in, some bloodbath at the Miami Beach Convention Center. It was great. I used to go on a regular basis, Louie. In fact, I looked forward to it. There was nothing I liked better. Just to hear live, the great voice of Gordon Soley.
Oh, Soley would be like over the speakers. Like you could be in the arena hearing Soley.
We were close enough to actually hear Soley as he was calling the match.
Okay.
Because we got front row seats for this shit.
Nice.
Which was great. Yeah. I pulled a few strings there. Happened to know Chris Dundee. And I was like, next thing you know, hey, here's far up front, kid. Enjoy the matches. Like, all right, sounds good. But heck of a good time. And the Funk Brothers, you were always rooting for them, and they never quite got over that threshold. I don't know. Did they ever win any championships? Championship Wrestling from Florida?
I don't
Funk
know.
Brothers, did they hold any titles for any substantial or significant period of time?
I feel like they must have if they got as famous. I haven't even heard of them.
They had to have something, at least like an intercontinental stinking belt, no? Which you're trying to think, what continents are there that constitute the intercontinental, collection there for the belt? What would it be? I mean, do you include like 3 of them? What continents are we talking about here? There's only 2 continents, Steve.
I never understood that. All the titles that they had, a lot of them made zero fucking sense.
Yeah, the Mutant Pygmy Intercontinental Divisional Championship. And there's a
Says
belt
they
for it.
won numerous tag team titles.
They were a good tag team.
Single titles.
Oh, they did? Okay. So they were multiple champions.
They were the NWA Florida Tag Team Championship. They won that once. NWA North American Tag Team Championship. They did win that once. Georgia Wrestling. That was Florida Wrestling. Georgia Wrestling. They won the NWA Championship once. Hollywood Wrestling. They won that Tag Team Championship 3 times. They did really well in the Hollywood. This Western States Sports. They won that championship twice. Southwest Championship Wrestling. They won that championship.
Wow. The list of credentials, is substantial then.
And they were put in the WWF Hall of Fame in 2009. So they're actual Hall of Famers.
All right. Well deserved, yeah. Just every time I see anything about them, which unfortunately we're talking about Terry Funk after his passing at 79, but I'm just reminded of the ridiculousness of perceiving Dusty Rhodes to be the American dream. Well, I think Rhodes would have done well in that Republican debate last night, no? It was great. Did you watch any of the panel discussions about it? I enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of funny because you're thinking that this analysis is the same as like the, first hour of a 5-hour pregame show for the Super Bowl where they have like 10 people on the panel there. I really do believe. I thought I saw. I didn't realize that she was into politics. Susie Colbert was conducting one of the panel discussions with Steve Young. saying, "Well, I didn't watch any of this, but I'll tell you what I think. I tell you, they're going to have to run the ball." Okay, Steve. That's a great observation. You're a brilliant quarterback. Nobody would argue that. You probably, could have pushed Montana out the door a couple of years earlier. But as a commentator, nothing special. All right, we're going to see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a Degenerate Friday all lined up for you.
Yes.
And we thank you so much for tuning in. Our thanks to Dave Gurggles Gurgley for getting us going today with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We'll have the professor, the Greek, and the whole cast of characters. Mark Lawrence in.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. Okay, so he's going to be giving us some selections as well on a Degenerate Friday edition of the program. Later on today, 12 o'clock, you can tune in South Florida Live and or on the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook page.
It's up 117,000 members.
I didn't even know there were that many people in Broward County and the surrounding areas. Yeah.
Millions.
It's funny. It's such a source of irritation for Mayo, and yet I find it, like
I love it. I think it's great. Even when
wildly
they're
entertaining. Yeah, I don't get involved in these like back and forth things where the people start insulting each other. That doesn't interest me at all. I just like to find out about places that I otherwise would never go to.
Exactly.
And you're thinking, wow, and I have like tried a few of them just based on what I've seen there, and they've been right. It turned out to be some very good finds. So it has a real positive influence and purpose. And yet, Mayo, he's disgruntled over the whole thing, no?
Well, did you see he finally put up that fucking dog post and it went insane.
It went nuts. Yeah. You know what? And it's right there in the front of the store. I happen to, double back to Publix actually to get something for my dogs.
Nice.
And, and there's the sign right there in the front. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think, I love my dogs. I don't bring them out to restaurants or, take them to the supermarket. I went, well, Skippy, I mean, he would be nipping at everybody's heels because, it just doesn't seem like something that you really want to do, does it?
I've never gotten why you'd want to do that to your dogs.
I mean, if you're a blind person and you have a seeing eye dog, okay, yes, absolutely.
Well, these people walking around with fucking dogs and strollers, I'm sorry. You're allowed to do it around your neighborhood, whatever.
Yeah.
The dog's older. You want it to get outside. I'm not judging you. I don't want it in my fucking restaurant next to me. I just don't. Maybe that makes me a jerk off. I don't know. I have 2 animals. I love them.
Yeah.
My dog would be a lunatic if I took him out. Like, he's all over the fucking place. Like, I don't
Oh, yeah. I couldn't have done that with Skippy.
No way.
That's for sure. I don't know. I mean, I've seen it even like when I go to the Funky Biscuit, and then you're looking and going, "Holy shit, that's a dog under there." It's not even right to put the dog through that, is it?
Exactly. That's my thing.
Loud noise and people, potentially stomping on them. No, it seems very inappropriate. All right, but anyway, yeah, Publix with this policy, and I don't know, have they got any flack over that, or
I haven't seen
anybody?
it.
Is anybody protesting against it?
I haven't seen one yet. I'm sure people will get pissed because someone always has to get pissed about something. But Mayo posted it and it went insane yesterday.
Oh yeah. No, I saw some in the comments there. Mostly, it seemed like most people were in agreement that this is something that should have been done away with a long time ago, and that people, out of courtesy for others, should just leave their dog at home at that point.
People have allergies. People are scared of animals. Like what? Like if you want to do it like you guys did,
It's not good for the animal, though. I mean, I don't think.
Where you live, they're fucking annoying about animals. Yes, go get the thing, get your animal, do you? But you need emotional support wherever you go. Then you may not be good at going out in public yet. You maybe need to go to therapy and work on it. To me, I don't think your dog's saving you from going and getting a melon. Like what? What does your dog have to do with that? Like I don't understand. Like if you need a dog to get a melon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck the dog's doing for you. And again, I don't judge those with mental issues. You do what you got to do. But like, it's not fair to everyone else. Like, it's just not.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain circumstances. Have somebody watch them outside, I guess,
I don't know.
Whatever.
I know.
All right. That's it. We'll end on that note. A big spark of controversy and Mayo naturally starting to pot by, and I think taking the correct position on that, though. I would have to agree with him 100%.
I agree.
All right, we're going to see you later on. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. There'll be the Lobster Fest going on. And is he going to do the blind taste test? I can't imagine that he wouldn't be able to distinguish between the flavor of a Maine lobster versus a Florida lobster. And there would be people that prefer one over the other. That's fine. I don't know if it's 50-50. I'm always a Maine lobster guy, but there is a great purpose for the Florida lobster also.
Yeah, people lean Maine, but Florida lobster works too. I'm just curious if they're going to cook, if you cook them the exact same way or if you cook them differently, because
I would cook them differently, yeah.
Grilling lobster as opposed to boiling lobster, even if it's Maine, has a different consistency. So like that may
texture is different too. Yeah, texture completely different.
The way it comes off is different. So
is that even a contest? I mean, if he gets it wrong, he looks completely foolish. And if he gets it right, you're like, okay, Mayo, big deal, right? You can tell the difference between split pea and tomato soup. They're both soups.
They're very different, exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you later on. We'll have that coming up from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market at 12 o'clock today here on South Florida Live. For Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow with a Degenerate Friday edition of the program. Some selections, too, from Mark Lawrence and the professor. We got college football on tap this weekend, so it's very, very, very relevant to be making some picks. And we'll see you then as we leave.
The time.
6.
Let's go to eat a damn snack. Look what they done to my soul.